tune the output so I was getting a clear image, because on some of the receive images I was receiving a Morier pattern in the background, and that was just from the sound card levels not quite being adjusted right. SSTV has a very it's a very feature-rich program, and there's a lot of features in here that are not really obvious to various to users just by looking at it and clicking on the buttons. A lot of those can be found by right-clicking on them, like on the CW button, the TX button. If you right-click that, you can edit it and have other things that you can send out and reset. But for you, on the tone button, if you see where it says the tone, whatever your tone is set to, if you right-click that, you can pull that up and change the tone. And so it's best to change that tone to one of the stripes, so either 1200 or 1500 hertz. So that way, when you send a tone, the other people can actually see if it's actually lining up on those frequencies. And I'm curious if nobody heard Beethoven's Fifth on the beginning of my transmission.
I'm sure it wasn't music. It was two sets of V's on different pitches, N6 PGQ.
Yes, I do remember there being some strange tones at the beginning, and Beethoven sounds right.
That was pretty neat. I was also taken aback, and I thought it would actually encode something into the image, but I guess it was before the actual transmission. So I'm wondering how you did that. Did you just play a file beforehand somehow, or is it some kind of fun feature of the new Spanish SSTV?
Okay, this is going to be PD 120.
excellent reception. Things are really coming in clear tonight. It's very few pops. I gather that's the theme, which is kind of what my picture is going to be also, is a field day. So I'm assuming this is up at, was it Dry Creek? I'm not exactly sure where that all is. I'm not sure if I've ever been there. But we've got the two guys standing in the background and two guys in the foreground. They're sitting at tables in front of a small table. The guy on the right's got a nice straw hat and is looking at a laptop. Behind the laptop, bottom dead center of the photo is one of the ugly bandpass filters. To his right, our left, is another person talking on a hand mic into a nice-looking Go box, although we're looking at it from the back side, so I can't see what's in it, but I do see that it's got a nice lid that's open to add shade to see whatever's inside. Various cables and a power cable and things running around. In the background, trees, a building with a ramp, and it looks like they're under a pop-up. So hope they had better conditions than I did, because my impression of field day this year was what a mess. Back to Net AI6TG.
Yeah, great copy here in Roseville. Not too many pixel pops. Looks like a fun time being had by all. That's the crew, the N6NA field day, looks like. I missed this part. I was there briefly the day before setting up antennas with Wilson and everyone else, and had a fun time getting that hex beam in the air. So I guess it's you guys operating for field day. So that looks like a lot of fun. Nice to see you guys operating. I didn't hear you guys on the air, but I didn't really work HF that much on field day. But yeah, hopefully you guys got a lot of contacts and that hex beam worked well for you. And it looks like you're working maybe 10 or 20 meters, maybe? Anyways, N6NA back to that.
Well, that picture came over really well, one of the best pictures I've received on this net, I think. And the Morier pattern I was having an issue with is completely gone. So that's good. I finally got rid of that by doing a loopback test. So you can set up MMS-TV to do a loopback as long as you have a full duplex sound card and use an external cable. And I was able to tune it. So, and a comment on the musical tones on that. That's done through the Vox setting. In the setup on MMS TV, you can select the Vox tone you want to use if you're keying your radio via Vox, or you can edit it, and you can edit it by telling it what frequency you want to send and for how long. And basically, to send musical notes, use just a pair of two numbers, the frequency you want and how many milliseconds you want to send that note for. If you want a space, you just do, 0 hertz at 200 milliseconds or whatever the time frame is. The hardest part is converting the music into that format. So that's all there really is to it. N6YG. Yeah, she thoroughly embarrassed me. Yeah, Carol and I did this net together for years. For quite some time, it was just her and I, and every once in a while someone else would pop in, and it slowly built up. I dropped out after I fell through the floor of the house and injured my back. That kind of dominated my life, so I dropped off this net for about 4 years.
Okay, well, before I start my description, I'm hoping some people at the River City Arcs Field Day took some pictures and can maybe put them on a flashcard and bring them to the meeting so we can show them to everybody else. Do a really quick PowerPoint merge or something like that. Anyway, the picture here is of the 40-meter sideband station that was at Dry Creek Ranch for Field Day, and the description of this will come at the meeting on the 5th of July, and hopefully we are in the same place, N6PGQ.
Yeah, I have tone.
Deviating.
Enough to affect transmission, or can I adjust it? Do I need to adjust it, or can it go as is? PD 120.
another field day picture, and I think that's AI6DG himself right there. If you go up to the view on MMS TV, you'll see an option that says Always Show RX Viewer. That pulls up a separate viewer for the receive window, and you can resize that to any size you want and just leave it up all the time, and it doesn't interfere with the program. Like if you click the magnifying box, you'll notice that you can't do anything else in the program because it takes focus. But if you enable that external viewer, you can watch the image come down in a larger format without it taking focus away from the program, so you can still do things. What I notice in this picture is I see harmonics in it, radiating across the image. It's very, very prominent on the shirt. That's probably from slightly overdriving the audio. But it's another field day event picture, which I wish I would have gotten a chance to go to. So with that, back to net, N6YG.
So how's this?
Until the image went away, the picture quality is good. I don't see any artifacts or anything like that in my picture. I can recognize the vehicles in the back. Someone's underneath a pop-up tent with their back to me, the red jacket over the back of the folding chair. Looking at a nice set of equipment in front. We've got a tuner and lamp on the top, and a radio down the bottom, and a couple of green buckets down the left side with stuff in them, and some caution tape around the outside. I would assume this is at the North Hills Field Day site because there's lots of cars parked around there. Probably is out at the whatever it is, ranch and slough house, Davis Ranch, N6PGQ.
Yeah, good copy here until it sounded like the ID came in for the repeater, and then Joel just couldn't recover from that. So a good copy until the feet portion of where Joel's at. But yeah, it looks like field day for the folks over there at K6IS. I think that's Joel's setup, and that looks like Joel from behind. I saw it set up at Winterfield Day, so things looks like they evolved a little bit. Because before you didn't have quite a tower of power, or whatever that is behind his laptop. So I'm interested to hear more about that and what's going on there. I'm having a hard time making it out on my image here. But yeah, just a couple easy ups in the background there, and cars in the parking lot. And it looks like a fun time playing radio. N6WLM, back to net.
So yeah, there's a couple of pop-ups in the background. Extreme left, the blue pop-up was the greeting table or the public table with our banner on it and all the flyers and handouts and things. So that's where a lot of the the people from the public and other hams would be greeted as they walked up. The next one in has a white top, and that's never unfortunately got used, but we set it up so that if anyone had any equipment they wanted to bring out, and they could plop it down there and have a place to play with it, set it up, operate it. If this looks different from what you've seen me with before, this because this is not what I usually take out to winter field day. This was the Flex 6500 rack. Not that you can really tell because it's all hidden behind the laptop screen, more or less. There's a little power supply up on top of the desk lamp, as has been mentioned. There was some headphones there that I just wasn't wearing at the time. The next layer down is there's a dummy load, a SWR power meter in power distribution. There's an Anderson distribution strip there, and on the bottom was the 6500, just to the right of the laptop screen. And then on the left and right side, they've got a couple of Alpha Delta 4-port coax switches. So the one on the left to switch between multiple antennas, the one on the right to switch between multiple transceivers if I ever have more than just the Flex sitting there. Yeah, Davis Ranch, good turnout, good, lots of public interest. Not much in the way of contacts. I don't think we're going to have as good of a score this year. I found the conditions of this to be horrendous. There was just way too many people on top of everyone else. But certainly made it a challenge. Oh, and battery. There's a battery on the ground midway on the left. That's the battery box that powers everything. And you can't see it, but there's actually a cable running off to the left to a solar panel. Not that that was needed in this case. Back to net, AI6DG. Oh, actually, I do have. So towards the end, right before it dropped out, I adjusted the sound setting in Windows from 100 down to 82 for the output to the sound card that goes to the radio. Was there a noticeable drop? And I dropped out, the picture dropped out because of me hitting OK to that setting. For some reason it reset things and anyway, yeah.
I was just wondering how they did at field day and which band was the most productive in N6PGQ.
I'd say 20. We had a lot of contacts on 20 and on 40 actually. 20 seemed to be alive almost all night.
Yeah, roger that. I have a photo. It's going to be PD120, N6WLM.
Yeah, it dropped out almost completely at the top and then came right back. I don't know what happened, but it, so that would explain the line at the top. Otherwise, it's a pretty good reception. A little slight moire pattern, but again, I don't know if that's me or not. Sidewalk, RV parked in the background. On the sidewalk, we've got a couple of tripods, one with a satellite, doing satellite work. The other one looks like it's probably a 2 meter or 440 vertical. Solar panel leaning against the corner of the RV, a pop-up in the front of the RV with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, couple standing, 3 sitting, lots of chairs, one of them with a hand mic, can't tell what gear, church steeple with a cross in the background, trees in the background. I have no idea where this is or what the story is. So as usual, looking forward to hearing it. Back to Net AI6TG.
Quality was good. I think we either had an ID or something at the very, very top, but I got the complete set of the sky in there. Can't add much more to what everybody has. Looks like there's 2 stations there. It might be something on the right side in the shadows, and like they mentioned earlier, somebody with a hand mic in the on their right. People standing behind him and a person in front of the table. Church steeple at the back and building on the right. That's about all I can add in N6PGQ.
Actually got quite a few pixel pops on that, but that's nothing that he can do about that. That's just I'm not sure what that is. That's either LMR 400 in the repeater or pave pause. But yeah, it looks like a field day. I can't really add a whole lot to it. It's a parking lot. There's an older Class C motorhome in the background, and it looks hot. We had, I guess this was a good year for field day. It wasn't as hot as previous years. Unfortunately, I couldn't get out to field day. So, but other than that, I really can't add much more to it. The picture came over fine. N6YG.
Yeah, it's all very good guesses. You guys are pretty much right. This is a field day. This is the Western Placer Amateur Radio Club, WPAC. They were doing field day just a few minutes away from my house, so I went over there to participate a little bit. I couldn't stray too far from home because the new baby in the house. So this is my participation. I was there for about an hour or two, just hanging out, and we were trying to work satellites. So if you guys know me, I do a little bit of satellite work. So in front of me, standing with his back turned, is N6MLT Bill, another Bill. He brought his 9700, and we hooked it up to my Aero Yagi. So we were trying to work some linear satellites, which I've never done before. I'll let it drop. And we had no luck. So I've never worked on a linear satellite, and I still haven't because we couldn't get any. And I'm not sure what I did wrong or what happened, but I ended up coming back the next day. I left my gear there for Bill and other people to play with to do VHF and UHF. We had another station set up there for VHF, UHF just to work off that. That's a, what is that? A J-pole, a 2-element J-pole there. to work local contacts. So I came back the next day, and I was able to get the tail end of a SO50 before I packed up, to get those bonus points. So it's fun, a very short field day for me because just family obligations, but it's life, just a little bit of ham radio here and there when you can, and it's all about having fun. N6WLM, back to that.
I'll pick it up, N6YG. I thought that looked like a arrow antenna or something mounted on that tripod. Should have asked about that. So they were using a 9700, trying to work a linear transponder. Yeah, you probably need to have a little experience in doing that before trying on field day, right?
It's his gear, so it's fun for him to bring it out and play with it. I've never used that radio before, so it took a while just to set up cat control. I was using a program called SatPC32, which I've used before with my radio, just doing half duplex to receive satellites. And it took a while to interface that program with his radio to even start tracking the linear satellites and control his radio as we point the arrow Yagi. One day I'm going to get a rotor for that thing so I don't have to go out there and point. But for now we just do Armstrong rotation and point the arrow Yagi towards the satellite. But yeah, we weren't able to work any birds with it, so I'm not sure what happened, but it was still fun to play with new gear.
Quick comment. It's November 6 Yankee, Germany. If you're familiar with X10 cameras, they have a PTZ mount called the Ninja. I don't know if it's still in production. You can get them on eBay for like $20. And it's a remote-controlled PTZ mount, and it's been hacked. And it's just about the right size to mount an arrow antenna onto it. And it's very convenient because on the bottom of that mount it has a standard tripod mount as well. So you can screw it right to the bottom of a tripod. You can literally zip tie the arrow antenna to the top of that PTZ mount, and if you Google it on the internet, you'll find the hacked code for it where you can control it from your computer.
Oh, that's great advice. Yeah, I'll look into that. It'd be really nice to be able to get a pan tilt on that antenna so I don't have to deal with it. Thank you. Yeah, I see right here it's $44 on Amazon. I'll have to do some research. Thank you. N6WLM.
Yeah, you can get them on eBay for like $20. So I've got a couple here. N6YG, back to net.
This N6PGQ, just reminding everybody that the River City Arcs Club meeting is going to be held on Wednesday, the 5th of July, since the 4th is a holiday and the library will probably be closed and locked up tight. Hopefully we have permission to attend on a day that we aren't normally scheduled, but that's the plan, is to have the meeting on the 5th, and we're going to be talking about field day. So as I mentioned before, if you took any field day pictures, stick them on a flash drive and bring them along, and we'll show them to everybody else. N6PGQ.
add this, that I'll be around after the net for probably about 20 minutes. If anybody wants to stick around and who needs help with MMS TV or some of the more advanced features. Good job on the net tonight, by the way. Feel bad. Windows 11 is a hassle. I had a lot of trouble with MMS TV and Windows 11.